Thank you, Federico, and hi to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here again to present this lesson from the real. Well, Federico had already done a fantastic introduction of myself, so I don't have to say much more. Maybe one point, because it's interesting for when I will discuss about the case. I am not a practitioner lawyer, so Lexify is just an advisory firm. We just advise for most of all entities which want to open businesses in the digital space. But since we are specialized in digital assets, we got people coming to us when they get scammed and asking for advice. And that's why I can present you these real cases. Let's see if I can, yeah. So first of all, I just wanted to make a short introduction. We have heard before the crypto scams that start normally with the social media. So the point is, if I am a scammer, first of all, I have to find my victim. How can I find my victim? Well, normally I'm doing this with the social, so I will do some marketing, some campaign, advertising campaign by saying what? Ooh, come with me, invest. I help you multiply your money. I have a fabulous return. So give me your money and I will make you rich. This is more or less the mantra that these scammers have. And they use all kinds of platforms, as you can see, from Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, or Telegram. However, so many of the reported fraud losses are scam, and where they propose huge profit, as I said before. But however, we are starting to seeing a drop in the number of scams and drop in the number of assets which are object of this kind of illicit behavior. So the question is why we are starting to see a drop that you can see also in the next slide. This is a slide that I take from a chain analysis this year, where you can see all the revenue that were involved in illicit activity on blockchain. So not only Bitcoin, but also other currency. And you can see that the scam, which is the blue part, the dark blue, is getting smaller and smaller starting from 2021. Why? In my opinion, because the people are starting to learning. You have to understand, first of all, why are scams so successful? Many people don't know what they do. They don't know cryptocurrency, they don't know Bitcoin, they don't know how it works. So it's very easy for scammer to approach this person, to promise this higher return, and to tell them everything. They will believe everything the scammer say because they don't know how the technology function, how the crypto space function. Now, with the time passing by, more and more people know what Bitcoin is, and it's then for them easier to detect potential scammer. Moreover, we don't have to forget that now traditional banks or the traditional finance is also starting to selling cryptocurrency product. We have ETF, we have ATN. In Switzerland, we are starting to have many banks which allow their clients to directly purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also crypto. So if I can purchase the crypto through a traditional financial institution that I already know and trust, I'm not instigated by using a platform which I don't know who they are, and it could be then a scammer, and I could be scammed. So that's a good, I will say, a good thing that is happening. We will always have scammer in the future, of course, but at least we can see a trend where these are becoming smaller. Another reason why scams are reducing, you can see it here. If you're using the wallet, cryptographical wallet, so if you want to send some Bitcoin, some Tether, or whatever to other wallet, more and more we have the provider which makes such an alert. So they inform you, oh, do you trust this address where you want to send the money? See what they say. The first is, how did you get to the address? Are you sure that you are on the official website and not on a strange one? Is this platform, are you sending money to a platform that is promising unrealistically high returns? So they're telling you, before sending money, be careful. If you get these unrealistic high returns, it could be that this is a scam. Is it a person that you know well? Do you trust them, or do you have any reason not to trust it? So be careful when you send the money. So you see that also the market, the crypto market is taking action to try to avoid this scammer. I can assure you the crypto market doesn't like the scammers, and they're trying to fight against them. So after this short introduction, let me introduce the case number one. So we will see 3 cases today. The first one is the longest one, then a short one, the number 2, because it's a historical case, very interesting, and then the third case, which is similar to the case 1, but we will have some other information on that. And the point why I'm showing you 2 cases is to understand you a little bit on the one side the behavior of the victim, and on the other side what the scammer are doing to the victims. Now, in this case was interesting because the victim come to us because they wanted to sue Coinbase. So you know that Coinbase is a very big exchange, very famous, and this person had an account at Coinbase, and I will tell you the real Coinbase was not a fake. And they had more than $700,000 in Tether on the real Coinbase, but Coinbase was not accepting this Tether and was stating that the value was 0. And that's why they wanted to make a claim and say, what is going on? Because why is Coinbase not recognizing my dollar and is not allowing me to using my Tether for purchasing other crypto? So we started to investigate and ask the guy to tell me all the story. Where he get where he get there? I mean, who opened an account at Coinbase? And he started to explain to me that he met a very nice and charming lady in an event about digital asset in London. And he started to discuss with this lady, and it was this lady that introduced to him a platform, a trading bot with incredible high returns. So first alarm, which should drill, and this trading bot was working with Coinbase. And by speaking, the charming lady, of course, said to him, look, if you want, I can introduce you. I can tell you where you have to go, how you can get onto this trading platform, and how you can use it. So the person followed the advice. He received a link from this charming lady, clicked on the link, downloaded the bot, created an account at Coinbase. So at Coinbase, usual procedure opening, the trading bot, which appeared also to be connected with Coinbase. So the trading bot was branded with Coinbase, and you could use this without any proper KYC, honestly. And what these guys did was say, okay, yes, I have here, he was not a new guy in crypto, he's already had some cryptocurrency, and he wanted to test the platform. So he sent some Tether to the platform to see how this platform works. And here you see another element, which in my opinion is common to a lot of victims. They send the money to platform, and then magically this money start to grow. You don't know why. You have done nothing. You just send the money, and then you see on a platform, and the people forget that this platform is just a software. I mean, I can do whatever I want with this software. I am the one who can put the numbers in the software, and magically their value start to grow. And since he started with a small amount of money, of course, what's happened is sending more money because he wants to get a lot of it out of it. And he didn't realize that he was gaining a lot of money while the crypto market was in a bear market. So the crypto were collapsing and he was gaining money. And for him, it was normal. Okay, yes, you can gain money also in a bear market by shorting it, but he was not aware of how the platform was generating such kind of money. Good. So the bot is performing well. It's sending more tether. It's gaining more and more money. And at a certain point, the victim is rich. You say, "Oh gosh, I gained 1 million. Perfect. I love it. This is really life-changing. What I do, but I want to withdraw." So it starts with the first withdrawal request. I have seen, because honestly, we have seen many cases. In some cases, if the withdrawal request is small, the scammer will send the money, real money, and that to induce you to do more, to speak also good about the platform, inviting also friends on this platform. You are making money. You get some couple of thousand of dollar out of it, and you want then to have your friends participating to the platform. But if you ask for a big amount of money, what's happening? Taxation. Of course, you have to pay taxation. That's normal, no? You have made a lot of gain, you have to now to pay taxation. So the exchange, the platform, will contact you and inform you that, yes, we receive your withdrawal request, but before we can execute it, you need to pay taxation. And if you try to convince the platform that yeah, you have the money, that if you need to pay some taxation, use my money to pay the taxation, no, they cannot do it because we are an exchange, we are regulated, and we cannot touch the client money. So you have to do the payment to the exchange, by the way, but we cannot do it on your behalf. You have also to understand that during all this process, the victim is still in contact with the scammer. In this case, was a nice lady. And the nice lady was always chatting with the victim, so they saw itself first. So that was the anomaly. They meet them in person, but then they changed the number, and the lady was always chatting. He had a long log of chat that he had with this lady, and the lady was supporting him by telling him, "Oh, look, you're also gaining money. Very good. Let's put some more money on it. Oh, look, we are doing very well. Let's put more money. Oh, look, yes, I also received the transaction request. I have already paid it. Did you?" And all this stuff. So the lady was pushing the victim to doing all the activity that the exchange was asking to get the money out, which was pay the taxation. So here is you see an example of the email that the victim received, where they inform him that, yes, you have made a nice gain, but you have to pay the taxation, and we cannot use the exchange to pay the taxes for you. Good. Then our client paid, the victim paid the taxation, so all well and well, no? He paid the taxation, and he's received the money. He received Tether on his Coinbase account, but Coinbase was showing the value of this Tether at 0, and he was very, very angry with Tether. And then we look at the case, and we look at the transaction. Here you can see this is the real transaction of the case. And you can see here that he received 768,989 Tether. So why is Coinbase saying he has 0? Because Etherscan is showing he received this amount of Tether. Is written there on Etherscan. So what's the problem? Well, if we look at the smart contract of this Tether, of this token, which is here, this is the Tether that the victim received, you can see here that at the time when they make the screenshot, there were 442 holder of Tether. Yeah, you can imagine, I mean, if you know what Tether is, which is a stable coin with more than 1 million sorry, 100 billions of issued dollars, you can imagine that there is not 442 holder of Tether. And if we look at this is the smart contract, so we have here the name of the smart contract, and if we look at the real Tether, that's the real Tether, you can see that the smart contracts are different. So Tether is a 0xDRC, and here is 0xF50. So what is the point? Well, the scammer create a fake tether, which honestly is quite simple to create, but also quite simple to see that this is a fake. So what is doing Coinbase? Coinbase is receiving a token, is not looking at the name of the token. Coinbase is looking at the smart contract. Sees that the smart contract is different than the one of the real tether, doesn't understand which kind of token it is, so it will give a value of 0 because this token doesn't have any market, it's not listed anywhere. So for Coinbase, the value is 0, and that is also the right answer. So at that point, the victim understands that he gets scammed and that he lost all his money. So what can a victim do? Once they know that she gets scammed, okay, he tries first to contact the lady, the nice lady. What's happening? I received the tether and I see that these are fake tether, but of course the lady was not answering anymore. And also by writing to the platform, it doesn't receive any feedback anymore. Of course, the scammer just closed all the communication channel. So this victim started a criminal investigation. And the point is that even if I show you a little bit of wallet on crypto, the platform requested also payment in fiat. So we had a banking account in Lithuania, and the victim did a criminal claim, and the criminal investigation authority did an international aid request to the authorities in Lithuania. And we were able, by this mutual legal assistance, to receive the information about the account, which in the meantime was closed because at a certain point also the bank recognized that this account was suspicious. But at least we were able to have an identification of the beneficial owner. Now, by looking at the documents, you can see that these beneficial owners are probably just people that were taken from the streets and they were asked to sign some document for the banks, and that these are not the real scammer. But the bank had also the IP numbers from where the scammer were accessing to the bank. And by seeing the IP numbers, we were able to see the city where the scammer were living. And the two beneficial owners were living in small village surrounding the city. So we had enough element to request the start of a procedure in China. The problem of China, as far as I understood so far, is that it's very difficult to find a law firm which is willing to do such a procedure. We contacted a law firm in Beijing, and they replied to us that yes, we can for sure help, but they asked for an advance of $60,000 for doing the criminal claim against this scammer. So of course the victims, which had already lost many thousands of euro, didn't want to pay $60,000 to a law firm in China, even if legit, that was a legit law firm, without any chance of success, because you don't know what you find. Maybe yes, you can find a scammer, but the scammer spent all the money and you come out without any, and you cannot recover the money that you sent to the scammer. Then we tried, since the problem was here that the law firm was in Beijing and the scammer were in another region of China. So we tried to contact the law firm inside this city in China. We had a colleague which speaks Chinese, so we tried to call the Chinese law firm with the phone numbers, and I assure you the phone number were not working. And we look at the law firm from the internet, so there was a list, we tried everything, some was not working, some were just ringing empty, and we never received a call back. So it was for us not possible to continue the investigation in China, even if we had some elements that could help us to find the scammer. Now that was case one, case two, case one. And I would like to to start now also with case 2, which is, as said, quite for the crypto space known case. That's a company that in 2015, so almost 10 years ago, was robbed of from 445 bitcoins. So they were hacked. So this was not a scammer, it was an hacking, and they lost these 445 bitcoins. They traced them because this was a mining company, so they knew exactly how Bitcoin works. So they were able to trace the Bitcoin, but 2 years later, in 2017, they were able to see that the hacker moved the Bitcoin into a mixer. So now you discussed it before in the presentation before what a mixer is. So you know that with a mixer, we lose the traceability of the Bitcoin. So we cannot follow them anymore. What these guys did was publishing on Reddit, which is a platform used by a lot of, let me say, IT freaks, a bounty. So you say, who is helping to me to recover these 445 bitcoins? I will give a bounty of 50% and give the wallets and started and ask for help from the community. Who can help me to find where this Bitcoin went from the mixer? And it takes the community 3 years after Wallet of Satoshi published a report, you can see it here, where they say we cracked down a cold case from 2015, and they were able, with their instrument, to identify a wallet which was connected with Poloniex and Coinbase as the rival wallet of the hack. Now, why is this so important? Because at least Coinbase, also Poloniex now, but at the beginning Poloniex was a little bit a tricky exchange. Now it's regulated. They're doing KYC. So if I have a wallet and I know that this is from Poloniex and Coinbase, I can do a mutual legal assistance and request information from the exchange in order to understand who is behind the hack. So who is the person which holds this account. And you have to understand, as I said before, the crypto industry doesn't like scammers, doesn't like hackers. They know that these guys are creating a bad reputation for the industry. So they're very, very willing to help criminal authorities. Many exchanges have some special channel where authorities can write an email directly to the exchange that can send an order, a freezing order, an information request directly to the exchange, and the exchange will reply. I know that in some countries you cannot do that because there are some agreements in place, international agreements in place. So you should use the long assistance way to get to this information, which takes months, if not years, if whatever they reply. But on the other side, I know from the source, from players to the crypto market, that a lot of criminal authorities are contacting them directly, and they are receiving directly all the information that they need. So in this case, probably thanks to Wallet of Satoshi, it was possible to solve the case. The funny story we discussed, I know that the president speaker discussed about it, is that Samurai Wallet, so the author of this report, were then arrested for money laundering. So you see that is quite crazy. These guys had this system that was discussed before that allowed to do anonymous transaction, but on the other side they were helping and supporting the community by finding a Bitcoin that were hacked. Now, I don't think that they are doing any report anymore. Now, the last case is it's a case similar to the first one. So in this case was a lady, the victim, and so the counterpart of the scammer was a man. a charming man. So which was discussing with the lady. They get really friendship with one another. They were exchanging information about the family. The scammer was sending picture of his family on vacation. Of course, it was not him. Of course, it was not his family. But that was what they're doing, was trying to get the trust of the victim through the social channel. So in this case was WhatsApp. They were really exchanging a lot of information, even personal information, through WhatsApp. The victim had to open an account in a platform based in the UK, and this was a regulated platform. There was also a certification from the Crypto Conduct Authority that this platform was regulated and supervised by this authority. So the victim started to use this authority. In this case, they had to do also some payment in fiat, but not in Europe. This time, payment was done in company to Hong Kong. When they started to send money, then the platform offered them also a new extra gain. Because here you see the behavior of the scammer. I mean, for them, the victim is just a cash cow. They want to cash out as much as possible from the victim. And since the year that was just showing, okay, also in this case, we have a nice platform, you give us the money, and the money is growing like magic. But at a certain point, the victim doesn't send any new money anymore. So they contact the victim and they offer them to participate to their IPO. So this company wanted to do an initial public offering, and they proposed to them to purchase the shares at a discounted price, of course, where they would make money just by waiting the shares to be listed on a stock exchange. And here they get more money from the victim. Then what's said to happen happens. So once the victim wanted to withdraw the money, there was still the classical tax request. And when the victim paid the taxation, they asked for an extra payment because there was a delay. The first payment was delayed. They take too much time to pay the taxes, so there is also interest to be paid. Then what's happened once all the taxes were paid? Suddenly the market collapsed, and the value of the assets of the victim went to zero. And the platform explained the situation by telling that, unfortunately, that's a financial product. And in finance, it can be that you also lose the money, and we are so sorry that you have lost your money, but it's the market, it's not us, of course. The victim at this point was starting to get suspicious, so they realized, oh, we got probably hacked. And they wanted to report the case, and they reported the case to the Crypto Conduct Authority, of course, because that's a registered and supervised platform. So what's happened is that, oh, I want to show this slide after, sorry. What's happened is that it never came out from the Crypto Conduct Authority, but on the other case, they received an email, not solicited, from a company specialized in tracking the scammer. And it told them that, yes, we are able to find your money and recover your asset. Of course, there is a fee to pay because every lawyers work with advance. So they paid the fees to this company, and guess what? This company was really able to find the asset and to freeze them, and they come up with a decision of a judge in Australia where the assets were frozen. And with the decision said that the assets were a disposal for the victim, but before transferring the asset to the victim, there were the legal fees of the judge to be paid in crypto. So at that point, the victim realized she was scammed again. I wanted to show you two things that I forgot about this case. One here, just to let you understand the psychology of the victim. When the victim was sending the money to Hong Kong, his bank blocked the wire transfer twice. And by stating, they wrote a statement to their clients, to the victim, by stating, "Are you sure you want to do this transfer? We believe this is a scam. Be careful." After the second block, the victim changed the bank and did a wire the transfer with another bank which didn't block the funds. So you see, even if you tell the people this is a scam, they don't believe you. At the beginning, they don't believe you. They have a great contact with a scammer. They want to gain money. It's their dream. So they want to try it. They want to send the money to the scammer. No way to block these guys. And then also this, so remember what's happened once the scammer has received the money, they have different options to try to avoid to paying you out the money. So in this case, they just show that there was a loss, or they just disappear, or they invent something to avoid to pay you out, so that they have to pay you out the money. Also because they have the platform which is in place, and they want to use this platform also for other scammer. So they don't want always to know that this is a scam and that you start a procedure where then they have to close down the platform, because they have then to undo everything again from zero. So in this case, what's happened, unfortunately, in this case, even if we had some elements, we have the bank in Hong Kong, but we had also a banking account in Poland in this case. But the Criminal Investigation Authority didn't want to open a procedure, because for them, the cheating behaviors of the scammer was so clear that the victim was also at also some fault, and so that could not be qualified as a scam. Even if there was a crypto conduct authority and so on. So in this case, we were not able to continue the prosecution. Now, if you give me just 2 minutes and then I'm over, I wanted just to make 2 slides about what, in my opinion, criminal prosecution officers should know when you treat this case. First, I know it was said before, crypto are traceable. So you should understand a little bit of chain analysis. There are now some website also where you can follow the money, follow the crypto without any big technical means, or you can use specialized website where they do all the chain analysis. And as said, crypto exchange want to collaborate. So in my opinion, you should try to contact directly crypto exchange to get information. That works, usually works. There are also some elements that you need to know that is against an investigation. So for example, Bitcoin is becoming more and more untraceable. And I don't know if you have heard about Lightning Network. This is a second layer on Bitcoin, which was done in order to not to have to pay too much fees when you do a transaction. The idea is that with Lightning Network, I can also pay a coffee in a bar, which works, but is not traceable. So a transaction on the Lightning Network, I cannot follow a transaction on the Lightning Network. It's okay because on the Lightning Network, it's really designed to do small transaction. But I mean, with Bitcoin that it's increasing in price, the value of transaction that they can do on the Lightning Network is also increasing and making it interesting for criminal. Privacy coins as Monero, as said, are untraceable. So that's why the exchange don't want to list Monero and such coins. There are also some countries which forbid that. There are also some exchanges which are not playing according to the rules. So there are the bad guys out there. And I assure you that the scammer knows these bad guys are and are using these bad guys. And I think that we should try to fight a little bit against these exchanges that don't play according to the rules. And finally, we have seen in the case one, normally a lot of scammers are based in China. Honestly, China is where a lot of scammers start from. And we can see who are these scammers, but it's very, very hard. We have many cases that end in China because we cannot work with Chinese lawyers. We cannot work with the Chinese authorities. And if we want to solve a scammer case, I think we should try also to speak with China and try to create a way how to collaborate with the China authorities. That's it. I see that I was a little bit longer than expected, so I and just skip this slide, which is they're just giving some information about what to avoid, how to avoid scams. I'm here for any question that you may have.